Hello, this is Steve Thoele, Principal Broker with Premier Property Group, and bringing you another weekly update on the Tigard Oregon real estate market. This update is going to cover the last 8 weeks of market activity, ending this past Sunday, November 13th. So I'm going to share my screen with you now and go through the info with you. So we'll start off looking at active listings, as we always do here. And this last week, I show we had 18 new listings come on the market in Tigard. That's kind of within the range of where it's been over this past month. A little less, certainly less than where it was here 2 months ago, but been fairly steady here over this past 4 weeks. And same thing with the total number of listings. You can kind of see we ended the week with 182 homes active on the market in Tigard. That's been relatively pretty much unchanged here over the past 3 weeks. Down a bit though from kind of where it was earlier in the period. Median list price and days on market for the active listings. You can kind of see after being parked at 650,000 for the first 6 weeks here of the period. The last 2 weeks has been on the rise. 2 weeks back it was 675. This last week came in at just under 700,000 at 699 for the median price in Tigard. And then the days on market on the rise as well. Had a low of 22 days 8 weeks back, and this last week we got up to 50 days of average market time. So getting fairly close to almost 2 months of average market time for the homes that are currently on the market in Tigard. So definitely things are for the most part, being on the market longer in order to get sold right now. And we'll move on to the pending sales here. This last week, I showed we had 22 homes go pending this last week in Tigard. That's up from the couple prior weeks. You can kind of see here. We had a low of 14 and the high of 29. So we're kind of in the middle of that. And then we ended the week with 99 homes in pending status. It had been on the decline pretty consistently here over the past month or so, but this last week actually popped back up again to from 90 the week prior. So median price and days on market for the pendings. We had a high of 625 here 8 weeks back, a low of about 550 5 weeks ago, and then last week has been bouncing around a little bit. It was at 575 this last week, down from 584 the week prior. And the days on market for the pendings, you can kind of see we were at around 24 days or so for the first 4 weeks, and then it has been on the rise. Got up to 35 days 2 weeks back. This last week fell a little bit back down to 33 days is the most current measure. And then finally here, we'll look at sold listing activity. So as of the time I put the info together, I show we had 9 homes go from pending to sold in Tigard. This always gets adjusted up a few homes here and there throughout the week as agents kind of close them out of the MLS system. But as of right now, I showed 9 for the week prior, and that's a low, as you can kind of see here over the 8 weeks. And when I look back over the prior 4 weeks of activity on a week-by-week basis, this last week came in at 78 homes have closed over the prior 4 weeks. And you can kind of see that's been kind of a steady fall here over the period here, particularly over the past couple of weeks, where we were at 101 and now 78. So definitely a pretty significant decline in the number of closings here over the 2 months here. And then the median price and days on market for the solds, you can kind of see after reaching a high of 627 about 5 weeks back, it's been declining from there. This last week came in at 525,000 was the median price for the most recent 78 sales in Tigard. And days on market been on the rise from a low of 14 8 weeks back. It went up to 20 this last week from 17 the week prior. But for the last month, it's been fairly steady at between 17 and 20 days. And then to finish up here, we'll look at the weeks of inventory and the sale price as a percent of the original list price. So the red bars is the weeks of inventory on the market. Started it at just a little under 7 weeks of inventory to begin 8 weeks back. And we, for the most part, you can kind of see has been on the rise. This last week kind of hit a high for the 8 weeks at a little over 9 weeks of inventory right now. So just a bit over 2 months of inventory is kind of where we're at right now in Tigard. And then the sale price as a percent of the original list price, price has been under pressure, as we've been talking about for quite a while now. After had a high about 7 weeks back at about 98.5%. And this last week came in at 96.7. So, roughly about a 3.5% discount off of the seller's original list price is kind of where the most recent 4 weeks of sales have fallen. So, a bit over 2 months is not, in the whole scheme of things, not a lot of inventory. So, from that measure alone, I would say, seller's market environment, but obviously with prices continuing to fall, advantage goes to a little bit more to buyers there. So we're getting to be more of a balanced market right now in Tigard, and based upon the continuing decline in the number of pendings and fairly steady supply, I would anticipate that weeks of inventory is probably going to go up, and remains to be kind of seen what happens to prices. But won't surprise me if they continue to drift a little lower as we move towards the end of this year. But we will see. So I hope that update has been helpful and informative for you. As always, if I can ever answer any questions or be of any help, please don't hesitate to reach out. My number is 503-680-2065. Always happy to help where I can. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to my channel. It's a great way for you to stay up to date on what's happening in your local market. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. And lastly, I really appreciate you watching. Hope you have a fantastic day and week ahead. And we will see you on the next video.